NBA fans, I want you to subscribe to Chat Sports. We're on the final quarter of the season. Playoffs will be here soon. And then, of course, free agency, the NBA draft. We will have the best coverage here on YouTube. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We have the latest NBA rumors, news, mock drafts. Probably another mock draft coming very, very soon. Go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. Now, let's get into the latest NBA rumors and news. Let's start with the Chris Paul trade rumor. This one coming from Frank Isola, who's been covering the Knicks for a long time, says that the Knicks are gathering intel on CP3 for a potential offseason trade. The Thunder are one of the best stories in the NBA, and Chris Paul has been a big reason why. He's been able to stay healthy this year. He's had a nice season. He's been able to fit next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Here's the problem. Chris Paul has 2 years and $85.5 million left on his deal. After this season, that second-year player option, we all know he's going to opt in because he'll be 36 that season. He will opt in for $42 million. Trust me on that. This would be peak Knicks. This would be absolutely peak Knicks if they decided to trade for Chris Paul, who's 34 years old and is not going to be part of a rebuild in terms of trying to, win a championship or something like that. The Knicks aren't close to winning a championship. Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of his generation. He will be in the Hall of Fame one day. I like what he's done this year. He's only missed one game after missing more than 20 each of the past 3 seasons. Doesn't make any sense for the Knicks. Thunder would probably do it. They'd get out of that contract, sign them up for that, right? I'll ask you Knicks fans and general NBA fans as well. Should the Knicks trade for Chris Paul? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This is a hard pass from me, which means the Knicks will probably do it because that's what James Dolan does, the opposite of what makes sense. But I'm typing my N for no. You guys go ahead and let me know down in the comments. You might get hit with an ad break. If you do, this will be the pinned comment. Go ahead and scroll on down and answer this question. Now, the Knicks' young core is not great, but there's some pieces to work with. Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. I like those 3 players. Kevin Knox, he's taking a step back this year. Freaky Frank, whatever they're calling him up there these days. Not doing much for me, but trading for Chris Paul doesn't make any sense. Yeah, these are some decent pieces. You're not winning anytime soon. Continue to build around R.J. Barrett. Continue to build around Mitchell Robinson. Maybe trade Julius Randle for a future pick because he's a little bit older out of all of these pieces. But trading for Chris Paul, not a great idea. Here's my proposal as far as what a Chris Paul trade could look like if it were to happen. Knicks receive Chris Paul, which, again, over $40 million each of the next 2 years. Thunder received Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Dennis Smith Jr., and Wayne Ellington. All those pieces needed to make the finances work, plus a second-round pick because I think you're going to have to throw in a pick for Chris Paul despite that contract because what's Taj Gibson, DSJ, and Wayne Ellington doing for you? Not very much if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder. Good news on the Thunder front, all those contracts would be expiring after next season. Who wins this trade? Type K for Knicks, type T for Thunder. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. Can you type neither? I don't know why either team does this. I guess the OKC, to get off of Chris Paul's contract, would probably consider it, but the Knicks definitely do not win in the end. All right, today's show is brought to you by the internet's #1 sportsbook. That is, of course, BetDSI. We got a great promo for you guys. NBA 120 to get a 120% deposit bonus. You see the latest title odds. Bucks, Lakers, Clips, Celtics, Rockets are the top 5 teams. You want to bet on your team to win it all in 2020. Got to do it at BetDSI. Put down $100. We'll give you $120 for free. They match that 120% deposit bonus up to $500, which means if you put down $500 when you sign up, you're going to get $600 for free. Trust me, you will not find a better deal out there. It's BetDSI. Go sign up at chatsports.com/bet. All right, let's get into a news item here. The NBA has fined Mavericks owner Mark Cuban $500,000. It's a second $500,000 fine. Cubes is not shy to speaking his mind, and he ripped the league office and the NBA officiating after a controversial loss to the Hawks last month. The Mavericks also protested the end of that game on an incorrect goaltending call, asking to replay the final 10 seconds or so. That was declined as well. Cuban has now been fined over $2.5 million since owning the Dallas Mavericks. That's not a lot of money for him, but that's still crazy to think about. $2.5 million for not even a player, like an owner of an NBA team. That is just shocking to see. This is what led to the fine. These tweets after the Mavericks lost to the Hawks back in February. Just when you think the NBA officiating can't get any worse, guess again, this is absurd. And then he's kind of explaining what happened. So they call it goaltend. Literally blew the whistle that it was a goaltend. There was a putback after the whistle. Blah, blah, blah. They got the call wrong. It happens. Cuban wasn't happy about it. We've seen him go after officials as well. Then he had one more tweet here. But wait, there's more. One of the refs told us, the Mavericks, that it was an inadvertent whistle. So it was not goaltending. Doesn't matter that people stopped. They thought the whistle came after the putback. So here's what happened. Okay, they called goaltending and blew the whistle because they thought it was goaltending. So the Mavericks stopped playing, and then the Hawks put it back. They reviewed it, realized it wasn't goaltending, but still gave Atlanta the basket because the Hawks dude put it back in. But the Mavs player stopped playing. He was not happy about it. That's why he went on Twitter and ripped the NBA, and it led to a $500,000 fine. Here are some of the notable fines in his career. Back in 2002, he criticized league referee Ed Rush. $500,000 is what that one cost him. Back after the Mavs lost the finals against the Heat in 2006, quote, acts of misconduct. Not sure what that entails, but that cost him $250,000. Admitted to tanking on a podcast, which cost him $600,000. And then, of course, berating officials cost him $500,000 this time. So grade the NBA officiating for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Look, I don't think it's very good. Cuban makes some good points here. He knew he was going to get fined, and he's willing to do it because he's hoping to cause change. There's not a lot of good veteran NBA officials anymore. They hire underqualified guys. He suggested, hey, let's hire young guys, let them train in the G League. Once they reach a certain threshold, they come up to the NBA. Makes a lot of sense. I think it's at about a C right now. It needs to improve. The replay system has not been super effective this year, and that needs to improve as well. But go ahead and cast your votes. Type your grades down in the comments section. Now, the Lakers signed Dion Waiters. That deal officially went through yesterday. That's been in talks throughout the week, but apparently they may not be done. Shams Charania of The Athletic says that the Lakers are open to adding another shooter. Now, they don't have a roster spot open, so they would have to cut somebody, but keep in mind, the Lakers did also work out J.R. Smith, who's played with LeBron James, used to be represented by Lakers GM Rob Pelinka, so there's a couple of connections there, and it would not surprise me in the least if the Lakers decided to add him at some point. Now, you look at J.R. Smith's career numbers, over 12 points per game, grabs 3 boards, dishes out 2 assists. Good three-point shooter. Now, obviously, hadn't played a game in almost 2 years. I'm not sure he has much left in the tank, but it's worth exploring, and if the Lakers did do that, have to free up a roster spot. These are the 3 players I think would be most likely to cut if the Lakers did go in that direction. Quinn Cook, who hadn't had a great season. Jared Dudley, although I think he brings value, good locker room guy, good three-point shooter as well. I don't really think going from Dudley to J.R. Smith is that big of a difference. And then Talen Horton-Tucker, the rookie who's been mostly in the G League this season, I don't think you want to go that route either. You just drafted him. Do you really want to cut him for, a month and a half of J.R. Smith? I don't really know if that's worth it. Quinn Cook seems like the most likely candidate if they add J.R. Smith or another player this offseason. Now, the Clippers adding Joakim Noah. This is news coming down in the last, hour and a half. Adrian Wojnarowski was on it first that the Clippers are going to sign the veteran center. They just keep adding pieces for their playoff run. He's expected to join the team next week. Played with Memphis last season, and I thought he actually played pretty well after basically not playing much for a couple of seasons. Played about half a year last year. Did some good things. The Clippers don't really have a lot of true centers. They have Zubats who starts, but Montrezl Harrell, more of a 4 that plays stretch 5, even though he's not much of a shooter, a little bit undersized as a center. Noah can give them some veteran experience. defensive tenacity, a couple of things in that regard. So we'll see what he brings to their team. But again, I liked what I saw last year with Memphis. Over 7 points, almost grabbed 6 rebounds a game. This is in limited minutes too, over 50% from the floor. He's not going to do anything out of his comfort zone. He knows exactly what his game is. 33 years old, veteran, been a part of a lot of deep playoff runs with the Bulls back in the day. So Joakim Noah joining the Clippers next week. All right, we talked about the Lakers potentially adding another piece after Dion Waiters, Joakim Noah going to the Clippers. Both teams have been trying to add. Which team is better built for a title run? Type L for Lakers, type C for Clippers. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. Again, want to remind you guys of our partner, BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NBA120. The Lakers are playing the Bucks tonight. Battle of 2 MVP favorites. LeBron, Giannis, you should go put your money where your mouth is. Lakers 1.5-point favorites. Bucks over-under between these two teams is set at 228.5. I'm excited as hell to watch this game tonight. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NBA120. All right, last piece here. Steph Curry made his return to the court last night. We talked about it earlier in the week that he could return on Thursday. He did. Played 27 minutes. Played pretty well, too. Scored 23 points in those 27 minutes. The Warriors didn't get it done. They lost against the Raptors, but it was good to see him back out there. He had cracked a few smiles, made a couple of deep threes up against the shot clock, had a sick behind-the-back pass to new teammate Andrew Wiggins. Good to see him back after that broken left hand. Steve Kerr did say after the game that we can start ramping up his minutes in the coming days and weeks down the stretch run as they gain some momentum toward the next season. 6 of 16 from the floor, only 3 of 12 from 3, so a little bit rusty, but 23 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, flirted with a triple-double there. Very entertaining game. I thought the Warriors played the Raptors pretty hard, considering Toronto is having a nice season. Here's a quote from Curry after the game. I felt better than expected and felt like I obviously could have played more minutes. Have to stick to the plan just this first game, but that was the hardest part to deal with. We'll see how much they limit his minutes down the stretch. I'm not convinced Steph Curry should be playing, but I understand it. Wiggins is in the fold. You want to get some momentum heading into next season, so there's some value to playing, but I think there is a lot of risk. What do you guys think? Should he be playing? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. The other reason that he should not play is why not continue to embrace the tank? Only 3.5 games ahead of Cleveland for the inverse standings here, 14 and 49. Those are your bottom 5 teams in the NBA, jockeying for the worst record and best lottery odds. Golden State, again, 19, 20 games left. Curry's going to play here. They're going to ramp him up. We'll see if that costs him a spot or two when it comes to NBA draft positioning, but obviously it's a lottery in the NBA. It's not guaranteed you'll get the #1 pick, but still, why not embrace the tank?